Greetings, ladies and milligents, and welcome to this latest edition of Read T-Pos, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. This particular story is called The Lonely Welcome, written by old sci-fi. The fleet dropped out of FTL nearly a light second from the planet. Ahead was a bright blue planet with swirling white clouds floating above. The land was shades of green and brown across 7 massive continents. The poles were capped in brilliant white, and the single moon, hugged by the planet's gravity, sailed on through the night.
"Scanner officer," Overmaster Feck said. "What do we see?" "Nothing interesting, Overmaster. Surface is mostly water. Many hives across the surface. No communications, no signs of intelligent life," the scanner officer said.
"Well, Landmaster Cattell, is this the world you plan to invade? An empty world on the outskirts of the galaxy?"
The Overmaster's cruel voice creaked.
"The coordinates are correct, Overmaster. The hub directed our fates, and they have ordered us here," Landmaster Cattell said.
"Ah, the hub," Overmaster Feck said.
"They never leave the Citadel, yet think to command us at the far reaches of eternity. You are my equal, Landmaster, so I cannot order you to ignore your orders. But I would counsel a tactical re-evaluation."
The Landmaster pivoted his multi-jointed neck to better look at the Overmaster.
"No, you cannot order me. I shall take a launch for a closer look. The invasion orders told of a massive civilization that had barely begun to leave their homeworld, and only recently they even discovered other civilizations. Billions of beings do not vanish."
The Overmaster squinted his one good eye stalk at the Landmaster.
"You think of the Weka?"
The Landmaster turned back to the forward hologram.
"Not as such. The Weka lived their entire lives underground, and our senses could not penetrate to see them. That is why Landmaster Hanal was defeated and why we still study his grand failure. But this species is a surface dweller. They live in the sunlight, not the darkness."
Overmaster Feck nodded.
"Shipwright, prepare a launch for the Landmaster and his team. They are going down for a closer look."
"Sir," the scanner officer squealed. In the main hologram display, the blue planet turned. A giant fire was raging across the largest continent in view. The fire was a line several hundred kilometers along the equator and at least 20 kilometers wide. As the line grew in length, racing across the face of the continent far faster than any fire could naturally, it blossomed into a massive circle. The ending circle was at least 100 kilometers wide and burned with a brilliant blue light. The orange light of the line was fading gradually as the blue light in the circle blazed away.
"An invitation?" Overmaster Feck said. "Or a trap?" Landmaster Cattell said. "Either way, we must investigate. I will still take the launch, but now we at least know where to go."
An hour later, the small ship detached from the massive carrier and fell away. It plunged through the atmosphere with a trail of burning plasma in its wake. The pilot slewed the ship around and made towards the blue circle, which had dwindled to being barely noticeable in the time it had taken to launch. The shuttle settled down on bare dirt, and its landing struts bit into the turned soil. The hatch depressurized and popped open. A dozen trained soldiers spilled out and secured the landing zone. Landmaster Cattell strode out of the shuttle when they gave the all clear. Ahead of him was a brightly colored piece of cloth held aloft and spread out by a metal pole. Under this covering was some manner of lounger and one of the beings of this planet. There were additional assorted pieces and materials scattered about.
"Evening,"
the being shouted across the distance between them. Landmaster Cattell waited for the translator to spin up and explain the crude language. Landmaster Cattell demanded.
"Me?"
"I'm Paul," the being said. The painfully bright fabrics this thing had draped around itself was distracting the Landmaster. Darkened lenses covered what Cattell believed to be the creature's eyes.
"Paul,"
Landmaster Cattell said.
"Very well, I am Landmaster Cattell, here to conquer this pitiful excuse of a planet. My masters believe that you may be some use to our empire, though I can scarcely see how."
"Empire, huh?" Paul said. "Well, that's something." But, we're gonna pass.
Pass? What does this mean? Landmaster Cattell said.
We're gonna pass. We appreciate your offer, but we're not really interested in being part of your empire, Paul said.
Listen, Paul, this is not a choice that you make. It is an inevitable fact of life. We will conquer you, and you will serve our empire in whatever manner the hub decrees, Landmaster Cattell said.
Yeah, well, that's not gonna work for us. Thanks for stopping by, though, Paul said.
He turned to walk back to his beach chair under the umbrella, his collage-like Hawaiian shirt flapping in the gentle breeze. Landmaster Cattell looked at the soldiers around him and felt the embarrassment well up from deep inside of him.
You are conquered,
Landmaster Cattell roared. Paul plopped down into the beach chair and looked up at the invading aliens. Okay, then, he said.
What does that mean? Is this some kind of trick?
Landmaster Cattell looked at Paul with slitted eyes. Nope, there's no trick, okay. You invaded Earth. Bravo, good for you. You managed to take over a planet with no inhabitants, Paul said.
What? No inhabitants? There were billions of your people here. We will conquer them and control this failed civilization,
Landmaster Cattell said. There's nobody to conquer, Swart. Just me. I'm the only one here. I'm supposed to turn out the lights when I leave and make sure we didn't leave the stove on, Paul said.
Impossible. Your people don't have teleportation technology or a galactic reach. There are billions of you miserable creatures here, and we will destroy all opposition you present.
Man, you're just not getting it. We split, we're gone. We stopped the mail and didn't leave a forwarding address. This joint is empty, Paul said. He sighed and stared at the aliens. He sat up and reached into the cooler sitting next to his chair, and his hand went into the cooler. The alien soldiers snapped their weapons and took aim. Easy there, dirty dozen, Paul said. This is a Budweiser, not a gun, he said as he pulled a beer from the cooler. He popped the top with a cool tsh and took a long drink. I didn't know how long your assholes were going to take, he said, wiping his mouth. And I'm not sitting in the middle of Africa without a drink. Landmaster Cattell could feel his pulse in his ears. The thriving beat, beat, beat made his vision blur.
Insolent vermin,
Landmaster Cattell said.
I have conquered dozens of worlds, each 10 times as powerful as this. I have burned entire civilizations to cinders when they opposed me. I have destroyed
blah, 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 Paul said. Yeah, we heard about you. The Tezext told us, hey guys, there's some intergalactic arseholes headed your way. So we knew you were coming. It took some doing, but we decided to split.
The Tkeks, spineless cowards. We will deal with them once your people are subjugated.
That's where I'm going to disagree with you, Chief, Paul said. First, you're not going after the Tkeks. Second, you're not going to subjugate us.
You think to stand against our might?
The astonishment in Landmaster Cattell's voice was evident even through the translator. A few of the soldiers coughed out a grating laugh. So, a little story. I'm from a place called America. We were a colony of a much stronger empire called Britain when we first started out. We wanted to split out from them, and they weren't so hot on the idea. They sent their army, best in the world at the time, and we kicked their ass. See, they were thinking about armies and battle lines and honor and rules. We were thinking about killing. We had a wildly unprofessional army, little more than armed thugs, actually. And we cheated. We'd hide, we'd ambush, we'd sneak up on them while they were sleeping. All sorts of ungentlemanly tactics, and they lost. Of course, a couple 100 years later, we went to a place called Vietnam. We were the best army in the world at the time, and they had nothing. So they hid, they ambushed, they snuck up on us while we were sleeping. We lost. I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, you've got the best army in the galaxy, but we're going to cheat. We took our whole population and left our homeworld. There's nobody here but me. You want Earth? Fine, it's yours. Congratulations, you've got Earth. But humanity is coming for you. We turned our entire civilization nomadic in a matter of years. We've practiced guerrilla warfare since we walked upright. We're not in this to fight. We're in this to kill. We don't want glory or honor. We want heads and blood. And here's the best part. No matter how many of us you kill, we'll just keep coming. We'll use those deaths to fuel our anger. We'll sing songs about how brave heroes died standing up to you sons of bitches. We'll tell stories about heroic sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds. And we'll just keep coming. You'll have a supply convoy get wiped out by a rogue comet. You'll have a colony with mysterious epidemic. You'll have a military installation taken out by a suicide bomber. You'll have generals wake up with their throats cut. You'll have government officials disappear in the night. You'll have a wave of random crime breaks out on your homeworld. And we will just keep coming. So you've got Earth, way to go. But you also have a shadow stalking you. You need to decide how much a good night's sleep means to you. Oh sure, missing one night isn't anything. The second night hurts a little more. The third night gets to you. Now imagine a lifetime of watching over your shoulder, checking under the bed, jumping at every noise you hear. Imagine never knowing who's next, never knowing if it's you or the guy next to you. Now imagine that across your entire population. How long is your empire going to last under the strain of that? How long can you keep those other civilizations under your thumb when your civilization is tearing itself apart? Hell, we don't have to even take out that many of you. Just a few every now and then to remind you that we're still out there. Then Master Cattell recoiled. He looked to the guards. The guards swept the area with their eyes. Paul took one last long draught of his beer and crushed the can when he was done. He looked into Landmaster Cattell's eyes and said, "Be seeing you." Paul, the umbrella, the chair, and all the material around him evaporated in a shower of sparkling light, leaving the alien standing alone on a deserted world in an indifferent universe. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Casper Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vitmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.